I'm starting to lean more towards.
This is Jonathan Agger, 5th Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Shane McGuigan. Shane, before we talk about the boxing, seen you've been doing some marathons. How did they go?
All right, mate. Yeah, I've managed to get my goal target of sub 3 hours, so did 2:53. So quite pleased, but actually going to continue to keep going and try and break 2:45 in the next one.
With the amount of fighters in the gym, I have no idea how you had time to train for it, but fair play.
19-month-old son. So what it is it's just making time, prioritising it, and getting up early. Not afraid to get up early, and I enjoy it. It's just a nice, it's a nice amount of solitude that you get in the morning on a run. It's a lot nicer now that it's quite light and early. It's lighter early. Obviously, going through bloody Christmas time, it was dark and it was pretty depressing. But yeah, it's something to do. It keeps you fit and healthy, and I want to live a long life, hopefully.
Absolutely. Shane, the man to your right, Crispin Smith against Riakporhe, is he, would you say, the biggest success story for you as a trainer, taking him from debut to what he's achieved so far?
Yes, I think so. He's been a great student. He's been a fantastic student. He's trusted the process. He came to me as an out-and-out boxer, moving around the ring, and now he's a pressure fighter. Someone that wasn't stuck in his ways. He's brave, he's tough, he's happy to take challenges. I can't teach that. I can teach him how to fight. I can teach him how to throw a shot. I can teach him how to deliver more power in a shot. I can't potentially teach him how to block and ride shots a bit better, which is, people think he takes a lot of shots, but he does take the sting out of a lot of the big shots. But yeah, it's been a great story so far. We have to continue to strive for more. Him going down as a unified champion would just be massive, and I believe he can. I believe he can do it.
The first fight was super close. How different a fight do you think this will be to the first one?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I was just saying this in a previous interview. Like in the first fight, Chris was moving around using his jab, wasting a lot of energy on the outside. Richard was pressing the fight, taking it to him. It was what do you favour? Do you favour the volume? Do you favour the volume of shots from Chris, or do you favour the slightly more eye-catching, heavier shots from Richard? And the judges obviously went 2-1 in his favour. But I believe right now the way the fight's going to play out is so different. Chris is not going to be moving around the ring, giving up the centre. He's not going to be wasting energy. We're taking it to him. I believe Richard will probably still try and land big shots, but I think he'll be looking for a bit more space. It's fascinating. I don't think it's going to resemble the first fight at all.
What do you make of when Richard was saying like he feels like Chris has deteriorated over the years? It feels like Chris has possibly got the most momentum he's had in his whole career. But yeah, what do you make of people saying that?
I don't think it's people saying it. I think it's one person saying it, and that's him. It's a way of him trying to get an edge. He's got cut a few times in his last fights. That is always a worry for us with Chris. He's been cut in his last 3 or 4 fights. So wear and tear in terms of, it's not necessarily on punch resistance. It can be on the body, it can be on scar tissue and things like that. So it's maybe the only sort of way you can validate it. But the momentum's with him and with Chris. He's been putting himself into the dangerous situations and risky fights from the off with boxer, and pretty much from the off with after that fight. Even with Riakporhe on Matchroom, then he boxed Craig Glover. These were all 50-50 fights. He's had to overcome that 50-50 mentality so many times. So I think the momentum's going to massively lie in our favour.
Elsewhere in the gym, Azim, any update with the Harlem Eubank fight and when that could take place?
Yeah, look, we were looking to potentially get it onto this one, but it's a heavily stacked card, and I think that it justifies its own platform in terms of, like, it's a great fight. Obviously, it won't be just a standalone show, but I'm saying that with Boxer we're talking about it constantly about a date, and we're pressing for a date as soon as we can. But it looks like it's at the later end of the summer.
And I saw Caroline was tweeting during the Ferreira fight the other night. Is that a possible fight for her coming up? She
has a fight potentially scheduled soon, so hopefully news will be announced soon. Bitch is going to the Olympics. I think that's going to be a unification fight. It's going to be a massive breakout fight. Randy Dixon as well has just won the world title against Carbajal. So there's lots of options there. There's lots of options, and it's always been the most exciting division in the female sport, with female boxing, with the lightweight division. And now that Katie Taylor's gone up to 140 to defend her belts against Amanda Serrano, there's going to be a lot of belts up for grabs. And I think it's a competitive division, and she's lucky to be involved in it.
Just wanted to ask you about the Devin Haney Ryan Garcia fight. Going into the fight, what was your prediction, and after what you saw, what went wrong for Haney?
Well, I mean, I always said that Devin Haney struggled with speed. Linares was 38, I think, when he boxed him, and he caught him with a shot. Yeah, he won the majority of the rounds, but the actual, like, a guy that punches, like Cambosa's punch is short, but Linares punches long with speed, and he's a taller frame. So I always believed that that speed was going to be a big factor, and also power. There's been one or two episodes that Garcia's been caught mid-combination and he's gone down, but he's gone straight back up. Whereas against the Linares fight, he was hurt and stunned luckily it was at the end of the round, he kind of stayed on him. But listen, I can't say that I wasn't shocked. I mean, I was shocked. I believe that the weight and the weight of Garcia, naturally a big frame, let himself swell, and just played it great. Had everyone feeling that he was not quite there. He's definitely got ADHD. After Luke Campbell boxed him, I was around him for a few days afterwards, and you can tell that he's just a bit scatty with it. But he's an intelligent lad, and he can zone in when he needs to.
Do you sort of look at that fight, looking at where Adam is, and maybe how many fights he is away from that level?
Great. The 140 division globally is the most exciting division. It really is, for me anyway. I mean, you've got Dalton Smith in the UK, you've got Jack Catchell, you've got Adam, you've got Subriel Matisse, you've got Devin Haney, you've got Shakur Stevens about to step up to it, Garcia, Teofimo Lopez. It's just stacked. Unbelievable. It's a fantastic division. You've got Richardson Hitchens as well, a good fighter as well. So there's just so many potential superstars there, and a lot of them will gravitate up to welterweight, and a lot of those lightweights will come up to 140. So I think it's going to be the new 147 where it was a few years ago with all of the great fighters at 147.
So, quick few predictions to ask you. Dubois Hrgovic, how do you think that's going to go?
Rather not say. I think it's a very competitive fight. I think Daniel carries a lot of power, got great feet. I think Hrgovic is a really good technician, very sharp shooter, and I'm excited about it.
What does Zhang?
I believe that if Zhang trains for it, I think he'll knock him out. I think he's underrated on the counter. Zhang, he drops back and throws a good right hook, drop backhand as well. So Wilder's been hit. He's been nailed a few times from southpaws over the years. Spilker gave him problems. Ortiz was not what he was. What he was 10, 15 years before, and he still gave him a lot of problems. So I feel like if Zhang's up for it, it'll be hard for Wilder to resurrect his career, because that last performance was abysmal.
And finally, your old charge, George Groves, was asked about his opinion.
Who's he boxing?
No prediction here. He was asked about his Fury-Usyk prediction, and he feels like time could be against Tyson Fury here. He feels like time could be up. You feel like maybe Fury's time is up in this fight, and how does Usyk win it?
I think it's a split. I think it's a close fight. I think it's one of them ones that it could go either way. I'm starting to lean more towards Usyk. I believe that he's carried his athleticism better throughout the years, and you can't rely on, as I said, you can't rely on one shot with Usyk. And I think he's a bag of tricks, and I think he'll be able to nick a lot of rounds. And his athleticism might allow him to nick rounds that are close in the last 20 seconds, 30 seconds. I wouldn't be surprised either way, though. I hate to be that guy, but I don't think either of them can hurt each other. And I think it's going to be one of them very exciting, as boxing heads like us, we're going to get excited by the proposition of the chess match, but it'll be pretty much that.
All right, Shane, appreciate your time, and I'll speak to you soon.